Welcome to We Are Venomaniacs, the Venom site's official podcast for all of your symbiote news, reviews, and point of views. My name is Orion, and I'm joined by my fellow co-host Aaron.
Hello, it's just me. This will be so much fun. The best member right here.
Just
Let's get started.
Let's
go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah. So it's week 14 of our Absolute Carnage podcast series in which we cover the event's latest comics and tie-ins. We're now down to 3 weeks and 2 episodes of Absolute Carnage left in the series, and we'll be celebrating with a new giveaway, but more on that in a bit. Today, we're reviewing Absolute Carnage Weapon Plus number 1. So this is a bit of a different kind of story, as several of our tie-ins have been counted among them, like the separation anxiety or symbiote Spider-Man. This one follows the Weapon Plus programs, particularly Weapon H, which is an amalgam of the Hulk and Wolverine. I've never read anything about this guy before. And then the Weapon V program, which originally spawned the Vietnam era Grendel symbiote soldiers that Rex Strickland was a part of. What were your thoughts on this interesting little story, Aaron?
Well, I was very shocked that we were going to have this because I think this issue and Absolute Carnage Captain Marvel, I think those were the last two that were announced after the 5th issue, which is kind of like, why are we getting more tie-ins?
Yeah.
So like more is good, but it's like I was kind of confused why we got 2 more. Like after they've like already announced all of the other books, but more the merrier, I suppose. So when it comes to Weapon H, you really don't have to know much. So my father's a big Hulk fan, and he does not even read this dude, so not a big deal. He's just the Hulk mixed with Wolverine, and from what I've seen, he doesn't have much of a personality or a following. I think what they're really doing is looking at more of the Weapon Plus, because from what it looks like, there are a few other books in Weapon Plus, so I think this is kind of just advertising that whole line. Of course, I don't really know what all that is. But this issue, I really kind of enjoyed this issue. There was kind of a few moments where Carnage was written kind of odd, but I kind of like that he had more of a focus than a lot of the others, and I did like seeing a whole lot of Agent Venom folks getting killed off. That was a huge highlight for me. So
yes, and we do actually get one panel of Agent Venom, just a little flash, detailing how Project Rebirth 2.0 was kind of an extension of the Weapon V program, which is what it's what the symbiote soldiers are spawned from. So that was very interesting to see, just a little brief flash of Flash.
Oh yeah,
and
still dead though. So
yeah, still dead.
It's good.
Yeah. Now, what I was a little disappointed with is that this was a great opportunity to get our first real look at the Agent Venom before Agent Venom, and that was Cal Hendricks, who only had one name drop. It wasn't even in the first issue of Agent Venom series. It was like in one of the Amazing Spider-Man ones where he first appeared. Yeah. He's still the host of Mystery. We don't know anything about Cal Hendricks besides that he was the first Agent Venom and that he was ultimately killed.
Yeah, and he's probably also really dead now. So
yeah, I guess
like in the book,
I guess he's somewhere.
Hundreds of these dudes just get killed off.
Yeah,
which is good. Like we need justice for the symbiotes that are being abused by the government. So so here comes good guy Cletus saving the day. Yeah. Love it.
I guess you can say that we're just going to use Donny Cates' excuse that Cal is somewhere in that mass grave.
Yes. Same with Toxin.
Yeah.
He's just somewhere and he's dead, which is fine with me. Kill off all the crowd. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, so yeah, this was rather fun, and we get to see another artist's interpretation of the Grendel dragon, which looks a lot more like a dragon rather than Venom as a dragon.
Right, but it's fine. Just another interpretation. It's all good, but it's just nice to see it again.
Yeah, and I do like a bit of the action. Like I don't like I said, I don't really follow Weapon H, so I don't know what the history was between this Hulk guy. I don't remember his name, but the Hulk guy and the leader of this symbiote squad that we see Carnage hunting down. There was some sort of history between them, and it made for some interesting dialogue. But of course, that was pretty short-lived, given Carnage was coming around to collect spines.
Yeah, and he gnawed on a whole lot of spines. There's a few things where you can actually see him have like 2 spines in his hand. And he's just like munching down on spines. But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good old time.
And I would say it was, for anyone who's following the Absolute Carnage series, the main one, and if you read this book, you probably thought, well, this is pretty much a foregone conclusion if you're throwing the Hulk at a Carnage. We already know how that fared out with the Immortal Hulk, so... but it was,
like
it was
a Hulk
very,
and a Wolverine.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was very surprising that, that this Weapon H guy actually survived. He pretty much like noped the heck out of there. He's like, this is not my problem.
Right, and that's the attitude to have in this book, it seems like.
Yeah. If you're going to survive, you're just going to have to, turn around and ignore what's going on.
And he's never had like a symbiote, so, there's extra like no reason to get involved in this anyway, so.
Yeah. Now, there was one character in the book where we felt he could have been replaced with someone a little more related, and that's this scientist guy who is involved with Weapon Plus, and he had been studying Weapon V and all the symbiotes and the symbiote and Grendel, and throughout the book he's like he's using these eyedroppers, and it turns out the liquid in the eyedropper was actually a part of the Grendel symbiote, and it was allowing him to see from the symbiote's perspective, and he wanted to determine if Carnage was this red messiah that is fabled or whatever that would bring about the rise of Null.
Yeah, he was sort of interesting, but like as we said, I think he should have been replaced with the Superior Carnage. And what's his name again? Who is it?
It's Karl Malus.
Exactly. This is the dude that was Superior Carnage, and he actually is an older character, but he was made into the Superior Carnage, and at the end of that arc, he got pooped out by Carnage.
Apparently, yeah. He showed up in
right.
an issue of a Captain America issue or something.
Yes, when Sam Wilson was Cap, I believe, yes.
Yeah, he appeared, and he was kind of like a symbiote-human hybrid-looking thing.
Yeah, so he has a codex in him because he's half symbiote, and I think it would have been cool just to tie that in, because I was very mad like reading that entire arc like back in the day, because he's thinking like, oh, like they killed off Cletus again, and like we have this gun-toting Carnage, same as Agent Venom. I did not like it, but man, yeah,
I did like the Superior Carnage design, the initial one with his kind of armored and cloaked design and the cloak of tongues.
Right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's a lot of Agent Venoms in this that like actually look kind of cool. Like
that's some interesting
some
designs.
of them have like the camo going on, and I kind of like the camo they had going on.
Yeah.
There was a few that had like different like Mania-looking spike heads. They were kind of unique, but they're all dead, so
it don't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, like it would have been nice if maybe some of them lived, and maybe when Flash comes back, I'm not saying that he will. I'm just saying, right? That maybe if you explored more of this, like Weapon V thing with Flash, but we got to kill off all of these guys now, so might as well.
It's so funny that it's just you and I on this episode, the two Eddie Brock guys, and we have no Flash fans here to, give us tongue or give us lip about all of our Flash bashing.
Yes, Flash is trash, Tactical is bad.
Yep. This is our only opportunity, so if you guys are listening...
Oh, this is great.
Flash sucks, Flash sucks.
Flash sucks, Flash sucks, Flash sucks, Flash sucks, yes. Oh, yeah.
Alright, well,
staying dead.
Do we have any closing thoughts on this issue?
I think if you want to see more of just like a murder spree that's been kind of lacking in this series, I would buy this one. And there's a lot more going on with Cletus. You hear a lot more about how he feels, and he has some interesting dialogue here, and he has a very very, very handsome face in this one. If that if that's your thing,
Yeah.
But yeah, I would read this if you're a fan of Agent Venom 2, just see, the new designs. But, I think this was one of the better issues we've had.
Yeah.
This book had a lot more things happening than some of the others that were 3 issues, so I think this was worth it. I don't know if I can say that about the next Captain Marvel one, but I like this issue.
I would say this is one of the better tie-ins, as you said, but again, I believe it feels very inconsequential to the arc in its entirety. So,
right, this is just them showing. Oh yes, we actually. We actually murdered those dudes. They're dead. So Carnage has their codexes.
Yep.
But still enjoyable, I thought.
Yeah. And before we move on to the closing, I know that you wanted to just give a brief shout out to a couple of other Venom related books. One of which being the Marvel Action, or what was it called?
Yeah, so these past 2 weeks we've received 2 kid Venom stories. So last week we got Marvel Action Spider-Man, and I forget the number. I want to say it was 10. And so I think it's a Marvel book, but it's published by IDW.
Yeah.
And it was a very weird book. It was basically like movie Venom. It was like Tom Hardy fighting off against Spider-Man and
Spider-Gwen.
And Spider-Gwen, Ghost Spider, one of those Ghost Spider, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was very interesting. And there's going to be 3 more of those. And the one we got today was called Spider-Man Venom Double Trouble. And they're roommates, and Venom wants to swap minds with Spider-Man. So these are some very unique books, and I think that any kid would love to read these, and I love how we're actually getting a good Venom book for kids, because way back in the day we had what was it called, Marvel Adventures Spider-Man, and that was over 10 years ago, and that's the only kids book I recall that really had a good. It had a good Venom in it, It had,
I would also argue
Brock and Venom too.
Yeah, I would argue that even though it's not as well known, but it's actually just been recently republished in a trade format, is Uncanny Origins #7, which is a very Saturday morning cartoons version of Venom and Eddie Brock, kind of depicting his origin all the way leading up to, I believe it's Lethal Protector.
Right. Yeah. Oh. They also, I think they just released the 90s cartoon series. I think it was called Adventures of Spider-Man, but it was based off the 90s cartoon. And I'm pretty sure they just released that too. So I like how they're kind of releasing a lot more kid things about Venom, which is good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I didn't read the Marvel Action Spider-Man or whatever that was, but I did pick up the Double Trouble because I saw the previews for it, the art, is amazing. I like it. It's very cartoony and it's very enjoyable. And then it's a very basic, very hackneyed, I would say, trope of body swapping. You're swapping bodies between Venom and Spider-Man, but I feel like it's going to be really fun. I really enjoyed this issue, and I'm really looking forward to the other 4 issues that will be coming out. And I think we'll do a more in-depth review of this series once it's completed.
Yep, sounds good then.
All right, so I think that's a good place to put a pin in today's episode. Since there are no new Absolute Carnage comics coming out next week, we will return on November 20th to review Absolute Carnage number 5 and Absolute Carnage Captain Marvel number 1. Then, on November 27th, we will close out our weekly podcast series with a review of the final Absolute Carnage tie-in, Venom number 20. To celebrate, So to celebrate the grand finale of the hottest and most extensive symbiote crossover event since Maximum Carnage, we are Venomaniacs will be hosting another giveaway on our November 20th live recording. Tune in as a member of our live audience for a chance to win an Ancient Venom Funko Pop, which is designed based on Ryan Stegman's Ancient Venom from the pages of his and Donny Cates' Venom number 1. In addition, the Venom site will be running a separate giveaway over Twitter. We will be giving away 2 Ancient Venom Funko Pops and 4 packs of the Venom temporary tattoos from the Absolute Carnage launch event. So make sure you follow at the Venom site on Twitter for the announcement and details. You can listen to We Are Venomaniacs on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Music and iTunes, Google Play Music, and YouTube. We can also be found on Twitter at WAV_podcast. Check out our Discord server and become a member of the audience during our next live recording of We Are Venomaniacs. Join us, won't you? As always, thank you to my fellow co-host, Aaron, for joining me today.
And thank you. I love saying how much Flash sucks.
Yep.
It was great. It was great.
Yeah. And thanks to the Venom site for permitting us to make this podcast under the TVS banner and all of your generous support. And finally, thank you, loyal listeners and fellow Venomaniacs. You guys make an awesome community, and it's our honor to be your voice on the airwaves. Together, we are Venomaniacs. And now, a word from one of our partners at The Collective, a network of superhero podcasts.
Hey there! Do you like comic books? Do you like superhero TV and movies? Well, come on over and check out the Capes and Lunatics podcast. We have such shows as Capes and Lunatics and Super Connectivity, where we cover everything new and current and popular in the world of superheroes. And we also have episode-by-episode reviews of the Marvel Netflix shows and a monthly discussion of everything current on the DC Comics character Nightwing, and a few other surprises all the time. So come join us for the Capes and Lunatics podcast.